Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Data Playbook. We have our Week 11 Sunday games to go through now, so we're going to go through those one by one. So let's get into it. Looking into once again another divisional matchup for the afternoon games. You have Kansas City at Denver facing off against the Broncos, where Kansas City's favored on the money line with a spread of 3.5 and a total line of 44.5. And then you have your averages that we'll switch over to. And look at the rankings, with Kansas City having a pretty good ranking, almost top third across the board, with a scoring ranking of 9, passing ranking of 6, rushing rank of 12, and a tight end rank of 4. Defensively, they're also about the top third, with allowed scoring rank of 4, allowed passing rank of 7, allowed rushing rank of 12, and allowed tight end rank of 13. For Denver, it's not quite as good. Offensively, they're a little bit more mixed, with a scoring rank of 17, a passing rank of 22, so below average there, but above average in their rushing rank with 7. Their defense, though, shines a little bit more, with an allowed scoring rank of 3, an allowed passing rank of 9, an allowed rushing rank of 4, and an allowed tight end rank of 17. As always, starting with our quarterbacks, you have Patrick Mahomes and Bo Nix. Mahomes averaging 22.9 fantasy points per game, and Bo Nix averaging 18.5. Patrick Mahomes has 5 interceptions this season, with no other turnovers, and Bo Nix has 8 interceptions this season, with 1 other fumble lost due to a sack. And then we'll look at their averages and their share, with Mahomes getting 20.8% of the team's carry share, with 5.2 average carries per game, and 28.8% of the team's rushing yard share, with an average of 31.6 rushing yards per game. Bo Nix gets 18.8% of the team's rushing carry share, and 17.2% of the team's rushing yard share, with an average of 4.7 carries and 20.5 rushing yards per game. Following up with our running backs, you have RJ Harvey, because J.K. Dobbins is hurt, and Kareem Hunt. Harvey averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game, and Kareem Hunt averaging just under 9 fantasy points per game. With no turnovers given up, we'll just go to their averages and look at their carry share, with RJ Harvey getting about 20% of the team's carry share, or 17.9% of the team's rushing yard share. And that's mostly due to J.K. Dobbins having the most. And now that he's out for the moment, you have RJ Harvey filling in, so that will continue to grow for him. For Kareem Hunt, you get about 32.3% of the team's total carry share, or 29.7% of the team's rushing yard share. And similar story, with Pachenko out, he becomes kind of the main rusher, so these numbers will grow a little bit, I expect. But otherwise, it looks like Pachenko and Kareem Hunt share about even, with each of them having 1/3 of the carry share. And then for your number one receivers, you have Rashid Rice and Courtland Sutton, with Rice averaging 22.4 fantasy points per game and Sutton averaging 12.6. There's been no turnovers given up by either receiver, so we'll look at their averages. And then look at the target share, with Rashid Rice getting 8.7% of the team's target share and 9.2% of the team's receiving yard share. Again, those are still small since he's had so many games that he's been out, so they expect those to grow over time. With Courtland Sutton, he gets 20.8% of the team's target share and 28.7% of the team's receiving yard share. He's not quite the most targeted receiver on the Broncos, but he is the most productive in terms of his receiving yard share. And then getting into your number 2 receivers, you have Xavier Worthy and Troy Franklin, with Worthy averaging 9 fantasy points per game and Troy Franklin averaging just under 12 fantasy points per game. The only turnovers come from Troy Franklin, with 1 receiving fumble, and otherwise we'll look at the averages, with Xavier Worthy getting 13.4% of the target share and 11% of the receiving yard share, which is pretty small for the second receiver who's been in for many of the games at this point. And Troy Franklin gets 23% of the team's target share, which is the largest of anybody on the Broncos, but only gets about 20.6% of the receiving yard share, which is a little bit of a reverse of what the Courtland Sutton numbers are. And then wrapping up with our tight ends, you have Travis Kelce and Evan Ingram, with Kelce averaging 12.8 fantasy points per game and Ingram averaging 6.4. Neither of these players have any turnovers this season, so we'll flip over to the averages and look at their target share, with Travis Kelce getting 17.8% of the team's target share and 23.2% of the team's receiving share. That makes Travis Kelce tied for the largest target share on the team and largest receiving yard share of anybody else on the team, meaning he's much more productive with what he does when he catches the ball. With Evan Ingram, his target share, I did look at this before, which was 14%. And over here, this receiving yard share was almost 12%, about 11.9, I think. So Evan Ingram is not quite as utilized on the Broncos as much as Travis Kelce is on the Chiefs. So this should be a really fun game to watch, since you have the Broncos that pulled off many wins at this point, just barely though, so we'll see if they can just do that with Kansas City, or if Kansas City is going to come in and be able to really push around the Broncos. The big one is just we'll see how these defenses stack up compared to these offenses. It would kind of suggest that Kansas City has a better offense against a better defense, and Denver has a worse offense against a little bit of a better defense. So we'll just have to see how it all plays out. And there's your numbers for that game. I hope that you found it useful, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe, and otherwise comment on what else you want to see in the future. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next matchup.